So as you know, Bank of Canada just cut interest rates, and you're probably wondering, what is the state of the real estate market post rate cut? And to answer that, the market has picked up, but it's probably not what you think. And in this video, I'm going to be going over what I'm seeing boots on the ground as somebody who works in this market every single day and giving my opinion on where I think things are going. I'm that 𝐎𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐒, Fraser Valley realtor. I make content on Canadian real estate and my local market. And if you're into that, you can subscribe to the channel, like this video, and if you want early access to the latest pre-sale projects, which I tend to sell, you can sign up to the Equity Club using the link below. Is the real estate market going to start going up now that the Bank of Canada has started cutting rates and has basically said that they are going to continue cutting rates? And in my opinion, I personally don't think so. I think things are going to get worse before they get better. I think if you're forecasting a couple years out, 2-3 years out, yeah, prices will probably be higher just based on the fact that we're really not building anything right now and immigration is still high. But I think if you're looking at the real estate market over the course of the next 12 months, I personally think prices are going lower. Things are going to get worse before it gets better. So here's a chart from Ben Rabideau showcasing that mortgage delinquencies tend to go up after the first rate cut. Just like it took 2 years for the interest rate hikes to filter through the economy and finally hit the economy, it's likely going to take 18 months to 2 years for the rate cuts to filter through the economy and have a somewhat of a large impact on the economy. And we've only done one rate cut for 25 basis points, and it's going to take several rate cuts before we see any type of difference at all. Now, to be fair, if you asked me my opinion 6 months ago, I genuinely thought prices were going to go up in the spring. Inventory was a lot lower, rate cuts were coming, the outlook looked a lot better. However, in April, we saw new listings increase 100% year over year. So double the amount of homes got listed this April in comparison to last April. And each month, new listings have been outpacing sales. So now we're in a situation where inventory is a lot higher. And before we can start seeing increases in pricing, we're going to have to see some of that inventory get absorbed by the market. And for that to be the case, sales need to rise. And I don't see any reason why sales should rise at any time in the short term, because we need several rate cuts before affordability comes down so sales could rise, right? Before, we didn't need a lot of sales to move the needle up for prices to go up because inventory was so low. Now that inventory is a lot higher and there's a lot more homes coming on the market, we're going to need a lot more sales to chip away at that inventory. And the affordability just isn't there to support that level of demand. So I talk to a lot of sellers who want to wait until the fall, or they want to wait till next year to list to get a better price. They want an extra 20 grand. They want an extra 30 grand. So they're going to wait a year. They're going to wait till fall to list. They have no intention of continuing to hold this property. They don't want to hold it anymore. They're cash flow negative. They want to do something else with the money, but they want that extra 20K or that extra 30K. And I would just be very cautious, right? Because there's no guarantee that the market's going to be better in fall. There's no guarantee that the market's going to be better next spring. What if the market's worse? What if there's even more inventory and prices are even lower next spring? Are you prepared to hold this thing for another 2-3 years? Because if you're not, I would just say have the consideration that now it's possible could be the best time within the next 12 months. And I'm not saying that it's going to be, I'm just saying that I wouldn't bank on the fact that things are going to get better in the short term, because historically, they don't after the first rate cut. So if you want to sell your home right now, you have to be willing to accept a price that is lower than all of the recent comparable sales. I sold a unit last month on the 5th floor. It was part of the 08 stack of units, and we sold it for $612,000. That exact same floor plan in the exact same conditions sold on the 1st floor. So I was 5 and they were 1 for $578K 2 weeks later. So nearly a, what is that, like a 40 grand difference in 2 weeks. I listed a townhome, and listen to how erratic the pricing was for this townhome. We had a comparable sale at $693,000, and we had one at $748K. Like, where do I even tell my seller to price this townhome? It's not easy, right? And obviously everyone's going to want to test the higher end of that delta, just because, you know, if you price it for the lower comparable sale, you're potentially leaving $30,000, $40,000 on the month just based on that, on the table, just based on that range, right? So that's what we did, and we ended up getting like one showing. So currently right now, this is what's happening in the market in a nutshell. We've seen an uptick in activity since the rate cut. Some buyers have come back into the market. It seems like sales have increased. However, that has not resulted in prices going up, and in fact, prices are still going down. Inventory is up substantially. There is a lot of competition if you want to list your home. And typically, the best price home is going to secure the sale. So if you want to sell your home, you are pretty much guaranteed going to have to be the best price home on the market, unless you have a detached home, right? Detached homes are very unique. They're all very different, but if you're selling a townhome or a condo where there's a lot of homes out there just like yours, you are probably going to have to be the cheapest one on the market to secure that sale. Realtors are asking for showing feedback pretty much every single showing I go to, which is not something that I've experienced since I've had a real estate license. Realtors typically ask for showing feedback, but I've never had it where it's every single listing I'm getting a call from the realtor, a text from the realtor, a touch base from the realtor. And to me, that would tell me that buyers are in control and the realtors value those potential buyers a lot more than they did in the past. It is extremely difficult to price a home right now. Here's another example. So another colleague of mine has a unit for sale. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath, and the exact same unit on the same stack sold above him 3 weeks ago, I believe, maybe a month ago, for $489. He's priced at $489 on the dot, and he's getting 0 showings. And I would even say that his unit is better than the last comparable sale. So sometimes you can be priced right on the money, right in line with where market value is, and still not even get the sale and still not even get showings. On the buyer side, the other day my client got a pretty good deal. Amazing unit in a great location. He's gonna rent it out. The unit directly beside us, very similar unit, sold or had an accepted offer 2 days before us for about 3% higher than where we got our accepted offer. So, it always feels good paying a little bit less than the last guy. Now, I know this video sounds bearish, but again, I still think we're going to have a massive supply and demand problem going into the future for 3 years. So just because prices are going down doesn't mean that you shouldn't buy real estate, right? Some of the best investments I've ever made went down before they went up. Everybody just wants to buy an asset on the way up so they don't ever have to feel the pain of it actually going down at any time. But that's a very unrealistic way of investing. You typically want to buy on the way down or right at the beginning of the way up, not somewhere in the middle of the way up. But anyways, if you're looking to pick something up, I still like Chilliwack Detached. There's Chilliwack Detached now, decent homes selling under 800,000 in the mid 7s. You can get like a decent sized lot. It's not gonna be a beautiful home or anything like that, maybe 1970s or 1950s home, but it's on a good sized lot and you can rent it out and at least get some income and just hold on to that piece of land. And these homes are basically selling at Calgary prices right now. So instead of going to Calgary and FOMOing into Calgary like everybody else is doing right now, I would maybe look at Chilliwack. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I know people argue, well, there's not as many jobs and blah, 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 blah. I would personally own in Chilliwack over Calgary. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.